When it comes to fashion, I'm as close to a lost cause as you can get. I don't think I'm a particularly ugly guy. I just usually need help from friends regarding how to wear my hair and dress in something that doesn't make me look like I live under a rock. When I was young, I was very easily influenced by things I'd see, as most kids are. Light up shoes? Oh yeah. Thomas the Tank Engine shirts? And a little propeller beanie that doesn't make you fly, but oh man, wouldn't it be cool if it did? You bet. But as I grew older, my fashion sense began to devolve into what just feels comfy to wear. I wore sweatpants and long sleeve shirts up into 6th grade, and by the time middle school rolled around, I realized I had to start dressing presentable. But what was cool to wear? Well, seeing as my dad raised me on a healthy diet of 70s and 80s movies, I unironically had a mullet and wore enough denim to make even Jacob W. Davis reconsider his life's accomplishments. It was a bad look, and I was bullied to hell and back for it. And rightfully so, depending on who you ask. It wasn't until 8th grade when a fellow student named Rebecca pointed me in a different direction, a path I'm sure we've all walked down in middle school, a dark path of flat irons, hair dye, and enough edge to cut yourself on. No pun intended. The goth or emo phase. I don't have too many pictures of myself during this phase, seeing as in high school I nuked as many as possible from my family's archives out of embarrassment. And it's a real shame. A lot of comedy value could have been gained from looking back on that period of my life. I looked stupid. With the skin tone that I have, which is closer to sour cream more than anything, the black hair just, didn't look good. And speaking of high school, I'm not sure what happened to me in high school. Looking back on these photos, I refer to them as the droopy years. I was a really tall and thin kid. I retained the straightened hair from my goth phase, which grew quite long, and I wore kind of baggy, long clothes. By the time I was in my early 20s, though, the hard reality of the adult body began to hit me, and I couldn't exactly eat whatever I wanted anymore. I gained a ton of weight, which ironically made those teenage oversized clothes fit much better. But self-esteem issues related to my weight ensured that I wore a lot more hoodies than normal. In 2019, I made it a personal goal to start losing the weight I had put on in my early 20s. And here, in my mid-20s, I'm a pretty healthy weight. Something that's really interesting is as I returned back down to a normal and healthy weight, all of those oversized clothes which fit my oversized body now no longer fit so well. I'm back to kind of looking like a baggy, droopy teenager. This is where we return to Rebecca. She recently came back into my life about 2 years ago, and her chaotic and zany personality only aged like a fine wine. She and my other friend, Alex, ganged up and confronted me about my terrible adult wardrobe. I conceded that I was in need of spiritual guidance when it comes to fashion, and so once again, Rebecca guided me towards not looking like a complete dunce. After finding out my measurements, Rebecca and Alex dragged me around a big mall near where I live in a hunt for good clothes. And it turned out to be a surprisingly fun day. This was also coincidentally the first truly public thing I had done in a very long while. The three of us each got our 2 Fauci ouchies, but we still wore our masks in public out of courtesy as we perused the clothing section of the mall. There was a concerning amount of SpongeBob-themed adult clothes, and we were absolutely convinced that certain stores siphon the energy out of people to convert those innocent customers into jeans jackets or something. Old Navy inexplicably almost killed the whole afternoon. It was just so hot. The lights were way too bright, and whatever dark mechanism that was draining our life force was hard at work. We escaped from the store with our lives, and got food to replenish our energy. After barely making it out of Old Navy with our lives, Rebecca noticed that I had black and red marker all over my hands, with absolutely no explanation for how it got there. We all agreed that I must have been undergoing the transformation process into fresh denim, and it's lucky that I got out of that cursed place while I still could. It was truly a ridiculous day, and we did eventually make a second trip to that same place to get even more things, but I came out of the whole ordeal feeling weirdly refreshed. I look good now, and I feel great. Thanks to the hard work of Alex and Rebecca, we had a My Fair Lady situation, and I was transformed into something absolutely presentable. My battle with fashion will undoubtedly continue into the future, but with friends like these, I'm confident I can handle it.